Welcome to the Shots from the Hip podcast. This is episode 1. Wait a minute.
Correct.
Wait. Jason, wait. This is episode 1?
This is episode 1.
What did we do last week?
Well, last week was a bit of a test run, just in case we flub things up.
Okay.
But we didn't. We did all right.
Welcome to Shots from the Hip, episode 1 or 2. Show about sports, where we talk sports. How about that? Coming up next.
Welcome to Shots from the Hip podcast. Brought to you by Royal Retros on the Shotgun Sports Network. Here are your hosts, Jason Bizik and Oz Davis.
That's right. Here we go. Episode number 1 or 2 or I don't know. We're lost. But anyways, we're doing it again. Oz.
All right. Well, thank God. Thank God. I don't know how long this show will run. I've had
Forever.
I've had a couple of podcasts that have gone 10 years. But let's see. I'm just happy to get more than one. Very nice. The internet is littered with podcasts that are 2, 3, 4 episodes long, and people quit. So I'm just glad we didn't quit so far.
Not yet. We haven't made it to 3 or 4, but we'll hang in there for at least that.
We won't abandon the podcast. All the hipsters out there would be very sad if we did that.
That's right. So, I mean, hey, let's start right off the bat with the huge news over the weekend. NFL wildcard weekend, my friend. We made our picks. Looks like right now you're about to go 5-1 because the Steelers are getting destroyed. I went 4-2. So, let's quickly glance over the headlines here. Josh Allen, another last-minute game-winning drive to beat the Jags, and that's the only game you got wrong. What were your feelings on that game?
What are my feelings on that game? I feel like I lost some money on the Jaguars. I feel like all my futures regarding the Jaguars in the Super Bowl are gone. I mean, I don't bet that much money, so it's not like, I'm going to starve for the next month or anything like that. But my cat is fat, you know what I mean? So, yeah, everybody eats. But the thing that really struck me about this Jags loss is, take away the names, take away the situation, whatever. Again, and this is what I'm telling everybody, I'm sure you will agree. As the NFL expands its schedule, as fans and as bettors, we must adapt to the way that things work in the CFL. Okay? We just saw this past season. All right? For example, Montreal Alouettes. Okay? Most of the season, they were fighting 500. They were under 500. The East in general looked like the East usually does, with a lot of teams under 500. But Davis Alexander comes back. The team goes 6-1 to close out the regular season, and the one game was one of these, final week of the season, bench your starters. Okay, so a meaningless game. So they went out on a 6-0 run in meaningful games, and then got all the way to the Grey Cup. Now, the Riders were a bit of an exception. The 2025 Saskatchewan Roughriders were a bit of an exception to recent CFL history, right? In that they led wire to wire, okay? In an 18-game season, that doesn't happen too often. That you have no ups and downs at that top spot. And even a lot of times in that bottom spot. There tends to be some fluctuation. I mean, at one point, Edmonton looked like a contender this year. After starting the season as they usually do, something like 1-6 or whatever they start.
Yeah,
typical Edmonton start these days. Ever since Mike Riley. Anyway, and that was one thing I thought going into the game. The Jags are 8-0. Ever since that Rams game in London where they got pummeled by the Rams. They've looked really good. Trevor Lawrence, we think he's finally, living up to the number 1 generational quarterback kind of status. But no, he just did his kind of thing where random interceptions here, random interceptions there. Um,
Hmm.
it's good that the Bills' defense wasn't a bit better. Somebody put out this statistic where 14 passes by Lawrence were touched by a Buffalo Bill.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And this is one of the worst teams in the league against the pass. Right?
Yeah.
And they're tipping balls, they're like dropping picks, they're actually getting interceptions, three, um, et cetera, et cetera. So, those were my thoughts on that game. I'm not surprised Buffalo won. I did say at the time, I think whoever wins that game will probably be
Yep.
in the Super Bowl.
And
I
I
would not at
agree.
all. I would not at all be surprised to see. I think that there's still three viable options in the West, and who knows? San Francisco might yet beat Seattle.
Yeah, so let's talk about the 49ers because the 49ers lost George Kittle in an upset win
Uh-huh.
over defending champion Eagles. The Niners defense was just too solid.
Yeah, for once, again, this is another terrible defense. This has been the line on them all year, even when they were winning at the end of the season. I mean, remember just 2 weeks ago, they were in the hunt for the number one seed in the West, playing with this crippled roster, playing
Hmm.
without their true secret MVP, which is Trent Williams. Okay. Christian McCaffrey is the man. All right. Make no bones about it. Again, he was top fantasy player. I
Hmm.
believe he became the first player to get 2,000 all purpose offensive yards this season. He was the first person to do that twice in a row, to hit that 2,000 mark in all purpose yards. Um, but Trent Williams at left tackle, the 49ers have shown this past 3 years or so with Purdy that Trent is in the game, Trent is 100%, they win. Period. Period. Right? The truth is, dude wasn't touched. Purdy wasn't touched, and that was
Yeah.
so much of it. So much of it. Purdy is, I don't want to compare him to Jared Goff, but there are similarities there. Purdy is not hopeless against a pass rush, like, like our boy is, but he is awesome when there's no pressure. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's definitely got some good skills getting out of the
Yeah,
pocket and making
yeah,
plays happen.
yep. Dude's
Yeah.
smart and he has incredible field vision. Dude can
Yeah.
always complete the pass. He's
Uh,
like a less exciting Caleb Williams, you know. Uh, in my opinion. So it's all about the Trent, but it's hard to. On one hand, it's hard to imagine them against the Seahawks next week. On the other hand, these guys play a lot. The Niners and the Seahawks, right?
yeah.
They've already played
Yeah.
twice this year. It's a couple of interesting games, and I'm sure the Niners will get back at them. And coaching advantage, Niners. I mean,
Yeah.
again, Shanahan is putting out these mash units. He's putting out these teams that are 30% what they should be and winning.
Hmm.
Yeah? He's
Hmm.
the master of his scheme. He's the master of his scheme. And there's
Well,
a segue for you into the Bears Packers. I can ask
yeah,
you, what did you
the
make of
Bears.
this?
Well, the Bears had a huge fourth quarter comeback to win in a quarterback shootout. I mean, this game was full of air balls,
Yep.
and I tell you, that's the kind of game I like. I don't like the running game. I don't like little screen passes. I like deep balls, and there was a lot of them in this game. And
Mhm.
just as you and I predicted, Ben Johnson, he definitely
Yep.
outcoached.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. I mean, I heard this, I shouldn't say I heard this statistic. I was reminded of this. Okay. Love threw 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, and they still lost. Like, when does this happen?
Just
And,
insane.
there are some people calling for Matt LaFleur's head. I see that this morning on the Packers Wire website.
Oh,
Packers players voice support, right? So, he probably will stick around, but they got to do something about that offensive play calling. And yeah, they'll be okay. They got a nice team. Michael Parsons will be back next year, and God, he was awesome for them. He was awesome for them in the first, 2/3 of the season before he went down. He was great. I mean, he might have been in contention for the defensive player of the year, if not for that beast in Cleveland. he might have been in there, but he was awesome for the Packers. So, they'll be okay in a division that next year doesn't look as competitive as we thought it was going to be this year. Uh, so yeah, I guess LaFleur will stick around. If you're the Packers, you got to be disappointed losing to the Bears 3 times this season.
Yeah.
But I was not surprised. I was surprised at how many of the talking heads, how many of the podcasters were taking the Packers, no questions asked. Really?
Not these two. Not these two.
No. Da Bears.
Yeah. And that game wasn't the only back and forth shootout. The Rams won in a back and forth shootout in the fourth quarter to beat the Panthers. That fourth quarter was an entire game in one quarter. It was just crazy back and forth action.
Sure. My friend out here, also a Calgary fan, also a Rams fan, Calgary fan like you, Rams fan like me, Canadian guy that lives out here. He says, yeah, I fell asleep before the game. And I fell asleep before the game, and then I woke up for the fourth quarter. And he was like, and I was like, well,
perfect.
That was the game.
Perfect.
That was the game. You know how you get these compressed games, right? Game in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All you have to do is show the fourth quarter of this game, right? I mean, okay, you would miss some badassery by Puka Nacua.
Man,
Puka is the human highlight reel. He's the guy that you watch the game for, even if it's like 34-7. If he's still in the game, you want to see if he's going to do something. And sure enough, he scored the first 2 touchdowns of the game.
Yep.
Those who are playing any sort of playoff fantasy football, you better have him on your team because he's going to kick ass this playoffs. I actually have been wanting to bet Puka Nacua for Super Bowl MVP for a couple of months now. I think if the Rams are in the bowl, I think he's going to have a monster game, just like Cooper Kupp did a few years ago for the Rams.
But definitely a good chance.
In any case, you know what? As a Rams guy, as a guy with fan interest and betting interest in this game on the Rams, you know what? I wasn't worried. Never, not once.
That's good.
And you'll notice a trend in a lot of these games. Guess what? Fourth quarter comeback by the superstar quarterback, just like happened in Chicago. Yeah, just like happened in Chicago. And just like happened in Buffalo, right? That's the power of having, for example, the year's MVP at quarterback on your team.
Well,
to this point, Stafford was throwing something crazy, like 40%. And then he goes 10 for 12 in the fourth quarter. Couldn't stop him. As a Rams fan going forward, you have to be concerned about this secondary. This secondary is not very good, and they played badly against this team. Now, next week, they got Caleb Williams. I can tell you this. I'll save my prediction for later, but I can tell you this. That's a shootout. That's a 37-34 right there, that game. There's going to be a lot of points in that game because the Rams are so bored outfield. The pass rush is awesome. The down the field stuff, forget it. They're cooked. Now, if they can survive Caleb Williams after that, they'll probably get Sam Darnold. So
good chance.
He said, looking ahead to next week. Talking of superstar quarterbacks, In this case,
I was hoping you'd segue to
yeah,
this.
a couple of quarterbacks who didn't show up. What'd you think of Chargers Patriots?
I thought that was a heck of a game. I think Drake May is going to be a hell of a quarterback for a long time.
Oh yeah,
I think he's going to he looked amazing. And this kid, this is his second season, correct?
yes, yep.
Man,
Second
he looks
all
like he's
these,
been doing it his whole life.
yeah, all these guys. Well, again, just like in Chicago, just like Caleb Williams, same thing, same draft.
And
number one and number 3 here.
And then it has to be mentioned that, the superstar Justin Herbert is still looking for his first playoff win.
Yep. Yep.
Just incredible. Just incredible.
As are the Harbaugh Chargers, right? Yeah, that team is snake bit. I don't know to believe in team. Well, I do believe in team culture. The Lions, up until recently, had a very distinct team culture. I don't mean the BC Lions. I mean the Detroit Lions. Had a very distinct culture of, let's face it, losing. Okay. I think
winning throughout the season, but then losing in the playoffs.
Well, yeah. Now that's what it's come to. That's what it's come to. They've been gifted with Herbert, the math geeks wet dream. This is the ultimate statistical guy, the ultimate yards above expected guy. But I don't know. It just does not happen in the playoffs. I don't know. Drake, I thought that the key play of the game was when he ran for 37 yards.
Yes.
That was the key play of the game.
Yeah,
but,
he ran for 66 yards.
Right. Yeah, but the one play where he just
that's true.
They gave him the open field and he took it. They were expecting the Mahomes I'm gonna fake sit and then run for 3 more yards.
Yeah.
But nope. Drake's like, hey, I'm a halfback now.
Ice cool veins, I tell you.
But he said it in the press. He said it in the after game press. He said, I did not have a good game, and he didn't. He didn't have a good game. I put it down to nerves. I mean, yeah, okay. He's been in big games before, but yeah. No, he was just nervous. Now, to be interesting next week when they get Houston, who just closed out Pittsburgh mercifully, and Aaron Rodgers. So now we don't have to hear about Aaron for another, month and a half, at least until the end of the Super Bowl.
Until he disappears off the planet and doesn't show up again till next season.
Oh, no. There's going to be the flirty thing. All off season. If Mike Tomlin gets fired, it'll be with 31 other teams. If he doesn't, it'll be with Pittsburgh again. Maybe I'll retire. Maybe I won't. All this nonsense. It's like Favre, but worse. I'm going to come back. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. This kind of thing. So I'm sure he'll do that.
So now what?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we're running very long on this segment so far, as we always do, because we just like to talk. But
football.
Shall we move on to our picks for this week?
We can do it at the end. Let's do it at the end.
Okay.
Let's do some meat.
Now, do you want to touch really quickly on the CFL report cards, or shall we just move on?
I just wanted to a couple of observations. The CFL PA Players Association credit cards are report cards. Credit cards. Report cards are all about grading the franchises based on, I guess, treatment of players. You could say it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And really,
and families.
Well, yeah. Which is one of the things I wanted to talk about. But I just wanted to talk about this. I wanted to put this on the agenda because it's another chance to bag on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Now, the The Hamilton Tiger Cats ended up with a score of what? B minus. I'm not looking at the card just yet.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
recall at the top of
yeah,
my
they were
head.
very high. They won in most categories. They have that top score in most categories. But I thought this was funny that in reporting this, what was it? It was the website Global News, which is a Canadian news aggregator.
Yep.
The headline was this: Tie Cats earn top grades in CFL P8 team report cards. I was like, yeah, hang up a banner. Yeah. So I was wondering about this. I got a little bit dark when I was reading this, especially this bit at the end where they talk about the just the team resources, I guess, for families or treatment of families of players.
Mhm.
Nobody scored above a B minus. So I don't know. I got a little bit dark, man. I am very pessimistic about the future of the CFL. And this is one of the craziest things about this league is ever since what 2018 when the Argos were threatening to go to the friggin' XFL. Ever since then we've had to worry about the future of this league. In 2019, you had a couple of teams without ownership groups. 2020 canceled the season because of COVID.
Mhm.
Randy Ambrosi goes in front of Parliament and says, "Can we please have some money, some bailout money?" Parliament says no because you employ too many Americans. It's just like, and then there was these rumors about merging with these American spring leagues, and The Rock is getting involved, and I would
Yeah.
like I would like another off season because there was a while there when we didn't worry about the league, but I would like another off season when we weren't worried about the future of the league. And this
This is
thing,
true.
I'm making a bit too much about this, but these report cards, man, again, they make me pessimistic about this.
And you pile that on top of the rule changes coming up, and a lot of
No, that's what
fans
I'm
are
saying.
are very, yeah, like
Yeah,
I had the distinct pleasure today, as part of the media in the coach and GM meetings and discussing the report cards. The thing I found the coaches and GMs answering a lot was, well, we'd like to know how these were graded. What were the conditions? What were the questions? They didn't really know what any of the stipulations were or the questions. So they don't really know what to improve on, so to speak. So yeah.
I'd like to know too, is this the players voting for their own teams? Because that would be a nice indicator as to these how happy these players are with their team.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Daryl Sankey must have given a bad report card because damn it, he went to the BC Lions. So sad. I was so sad about that. I think he was given the F for family there to the Alouettes this year. Alouettes scored very low in this family regard.
Oh
Um,
man.
but in any case, okay. We're
Yeah.
gonna move on. We're gonna move on. But
Yeah. Let's
I
let's
did want to
close the
give
book
in.
on that.
I did want to give in a shout out to Kevin Durant.
Hmm.
Really, truly one of the greatest players of this generation. Always been kind of number two behind LeBron James. Always kind of in LeBron's shadow. Now, he did win the MVP that one year. He did win some championships with Golden State against LeBron, in fact. Some pretty great finals there. But I don't know. I've always felt like KD never quite got his due. And another time, he'd be the best player in the league, acknowledged best player in the league. But on past Saturday night, Kevin Durant passed Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list, getting 31 points against the Portland Trailblazers. Unfortunately for them, in a loss. I was looking at the standings this morning, and right now the Rockets are 22-14, which sounds pretty good, but they're just seventh place in the Western Conference. That's how good the hoops are this year. I must tell all the basketball fans, hey, Once I know we're focused. I know things are happening, but I'll tell you what, especially on that bye week before the Super Bowl, check out some NBA. You will not be disappointed. The NBA is hot this year. It's a very, very good league. Very good league. The league is extreme. It is at its highest point in talent in a long time. In fact, this is a sign that expansion is coming. This is what happens
Interesting.
in the NBA. This is what happens when you have this many stars in the league. When the teams are this deep, that's when you expand because there's enough talent to go around. Right? You'll make some viable teams. We'll get another. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. While you're talking,
I can't wait to see the basketball Las Vegas Golden Knights.
oh, I wonder what they're gonna really call them.
I've got the ultimate name for the Las Vegas basketball team, and I don't even care if anybody steals it. I think the name of the team should be the Blue Chips.
I knew it was something to do with chips.
Right, the Blue Chips, right? Because you've got that Vegas feeling, right? But also, Blue Chips has this tradition in basketball, especially in the colleges, right? The Blue Chip prospect. Right? So I think the Blue Chips would be an awesome name for the Vegas team.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's my favorite. Yep.
Now, while we're sitting here talking about basketball and the NBA, I'm thinking in my head because coming up next we have a Royal Retros ad read. Yep. Does Royal Retros have NBA jerseys?
Yes, they do. They have ABA jerseys.
Okay.
Including, I believe, my favorite. They have stuff from my favorite all-time favorite team name, okay, which is the Spirits of St. Louis.
Oh,
right? Not the St. Louis Spirits, but the Spirits of St. Louis. Love that name. In fact, Moses Malone played there for a couple of years. So you can get, I don't know if you can get, but you can certainly get your St. Louis Spirits of St. Louis gear at royalretros.com, now the sponsor of this show. Now, when royalretros.com says retros, they mean retro memorabilia. You can get your ball caps, jerseys, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, jackets, and the proverbial much, much more. Royal Retro has the gear and the paraphernalia representing dozens of teams from the USFL, Arena Football, the World Football League. Remember that one? Wow. The XFL, Football Canada, various pro hockey leagues, including the WHA, ABA basketball, like the Spirits of St. Louis, and the real selling point for me is a category for baseball called the Majors. By the Majors, nice. Royal Retro means teams like the St. Louis Browns and the Seattle Pilots, but also items from the so-called Negro League teams and Pacific Coast League teams, back when that was a major league. Best of all, you can get 10% off anything in the store when you use promo code SFTH, that's shots from the hip, at checkout. So that's royalretros.com, or click on the link in the description of the show here and enter promo code SFTH. That's SFTH for 10% off at royalretros.com today. And that's the promo. We just made some money.
Excellent. Let's head on into the discuss, debate, or delete, shall we?
Yeah, our trademark aspect of the show.
The trademark.
In this part of the show, for any new listeners, in case there are any, I think there may be, let's hope. This is the part of the show where we introduce 3 topics. The co-host of the show will then discuss, debate, or delete the topics at hand, right? Pretty simple concept, but it's a way to keep us from spending 3 hours on these things. Right. Okay. So let's talk about this one first. I'm giving the questions this week. Jason is fielding. All right. So question number 1. In the major North American sports leagues, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, is the season too long? Question number 2. Let's talk about this one. We introed this one last week. F1 the movie. All right. Question: gateway drug to Formula One fandom, or just Oscar bait? Or is it both? Or is it neither? Or is it something else altogether? I don't know. And finally, bullet point number 3 for our resident Raiders fan. How about that Fernando Mendoza? The still undefeated number 1 Indiana Hoosiers won 56-21 in the Peach Bowl against number 5 ranked Oregon. What a machine. Mendoza, 17 of 22 for 177 yards. It kind of looks like a CFL line, actually. And 5 touchdowns against 0 interceptions. So those are your topics.
I think I'm going to delete the talk about Fernando Mendoza. Now, I'd love to talk about Fernando Mendoza. However, I don't follow college football, so I don't know much about him or the Hoosiers. But I've heard all the hype, and I'm glad that the Las Vegas Raiders should be selecting him first overall.
Oh yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah,
it's a given, right?
Seems like it.
So we will delete
they
that.
have their quarterback of the future. I don't know if it's a great future, but okay.
They don't.
Well, this topic will come back as we get closer to draft.
Yes.
So go to YouTube, go to YouTube, watch the highlight clips, read up on Fernando. Apparently, he's a very nice boy, very ill-suited for Las Vegas. So that'll be interesting. Okay.
Okay.
What else are we doing?
Okay, let's debate the 4 major sports seasons being too long. And I don't want to take too long because we're already running very long, but the NFL season, I don't think it's too long. In fact, I think they may even go to 18 games, if I'm not mistaken. There's talk about it. I don't think that's too long. They only play once a week.
Okay.
18. Now, when you say is it too long, are you talking about the number of games? Are you talking about the length of throughout the year, like the length of the season?
Number of games. Of games.
No, I don't think 18 games is too long for the NFL.
But I think we do need to temper expectations. Right?
That's true.
Because again, look at the CFL. What is one of the fundamental rules of the CFL? I'll tell you what it is. You need that number 2 quarterback. You do. You need that number 2 quarterback. This has not been a primary concern in the NFL.
No.
But it needs to be. San Francisco stayed afloat because Mac Jones could play in Shanahan's system in San Francisco. If that had been player X, they would have dropped off the face of the earth. I mean, Jesus, think about Tom Brady was a backup, who just happened to come in that year when the Patriots started 0-2, 0-3 really, because he came into the game and they lost that game too. So they started 0-3, and the rest is history, as they say. You need that backup quarterback. Look, the Rams have Jimmy Garoppolo right now, which is exactly what you want. No, because he can come in and win 1 or 2 games. Look,
Kenny, because he didn't do it in Las Vegas.
Well, Las Vegas. Come on, dude. You guys. I mean, that's like saying you couldn't get it done that's like saying, Baker Mayfield couldn't get it done in Cleveland. Come on now, dude. Cleveland.
Everything goes back to Cleveland.
Yeah, it sure does. Okay. So
you make a really good point though, because in the Buffalo Bills game, Josh Allen did get injured on 2 back-to-back plays in that game. However, he did come back into the game. So, but it very well could have been disaster for them if he would have been out.
Oh yeah. I mean, who's their backup in Buffalo? I don't know.
I don't even know.
Wait a minute. Isn't it? Oh no. I will find that in just a minute. Okay, so you don't
But
think the NFL season is too long,
no,
but
I
you're
don't
used
think.
to the CFL, so
And
that's
I
why.
think if you ask any NFL fan, they'll say it's not too long as well. They'll be like, "Give me more football."
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's the
the NHL has got it right. They have 82 games.
okay.
It's a nice season. The playoffs are a grind. Best of seven,
Yeah,
four best of seven series. Like that's, by the time you're done playing, how many games you playing? You're playing about 100 games.
mhm.
So that season I feel is just about right. MLB and NBA, I don't follow NBA too closely. I don't even know how many games they play, but MLB I think is 164
62,
or
160.
162. That's a lot of games. And
Yeah,
not only that, they're playing 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Sometimes they're playing
yeah,
6 games a week.
yeah,
And I don't see how that doesn't wear on them because they're always running around. Mind you, there's no
yeah,
contact, right? But
yeah. Baseball is
but
not a contact sport.
still
That's
you're sliding into bases, you're diving for balls in the field. It's I don't know.
well, it's the catchers. It's the catchers that really take the wearing.
Yes.
Seriously, they do. They do. They
Oh,
take
I
the
know.
wearing.
Oh, I know.
You're basically guaranteed cysts if you're a catcher. There's nothing modern technology can't do anything about cysts on the knee,
Hmm.
cysts
Yeah.
on the ankles, and cysts on the backbone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or tailbone, I should
So
say.
so
There's
yeah,
nothing about that. So
I feel the NBA and MLB seasons are a tad bit long.
yeah, yeah. NBA is for sure. NBA is for sure.
How many
One of
games is
the things
NBA?
that made one of the things that made pandemic basketball so great, NBA basketball is I don't know if you remember this, but in that in that 2020 season, they stopped the season, came back like a couple of months later. All the games were in Orlando, closed gym, right? So no fans, no cameras, nothing, right? And they would just play out these games. But one of the wrinkles that they added was this: any team that was not in contention for the playoffs was dropped out, right?
Right.
Now, I would love to see this system implemented.
Oh.
Because all of a sudden now, with a third of the season left, you only have quality teams. You only have contenders, right? And that
Mhm.
makes the quality of hoops so much better. Baseball, you could do this as well. Jesus, I'm
Hmm.
a Rockies fan. Trust me, we're out of it by July. You know, we are. If there was some way to do this where instead of that part of the year, I think it's in early September or late August, where you expand the rosters to 40, instead of doing that, or you could still do that, but maybe at the same time, you should drop the non contenders.
Hmm.
I mean, imagine if you had, okay, so you have what in baseball now? 7 playoff spots? Okay, so imagine if you reduce the league after 120 games to 12 teams. Right now, all of a sudden, everybody's in it. Right, everybody's in contention for the playoffs. Right, in theory. So I think that would be an answer to it. But there's no way you could do it. It's not economically viable. You can't say to the guy, okay, if the season ends in September, you don't get 20% of your money. You couldn't
Hmm.
do that. But
Very interesting. Very
I don't
interesting
know.
idea, though.
That would be cool if you could. Now in basketball, maybe what you could do is you take those teams that are no longer in contention, you give them their own league, and you're playing for the number one pick in the draft.
Oh.
Right? See what I'm
Oh
saying?
well.
You
Little
win.
little
Yeah,
number
you
one
win.
draft tournament.
Yeah, the consolation league, the draft league. Call it something like that. And then whoever wins gets the number one pick. Right?
Huh.
That way,
That's
those teams
interesting.
have something to play for too.
That's
So
interesting.
it would be nice to rethink the format. Just like we were talking about college football bowl games last week, incompatible formats. But it would be nice to change the format. We shouldn't accept things the way they are all the time. It's
Yeah.
necessary. So anyway, okay, you think so?
Um.
I think they could be shorter. I think they could be shorter.
Mhm.
Especially hoops. Basketball is the one I follow. Now, on the other hand, here's the argument I used to make. I know the counter argument, but here's the argument. Look, have you watched European soccer? Here's the way European soccer works. I mean, you don't even need to know the details, but think about this. Manchester United, okay? They play 30, what we would call regular season games, in 7 months or so, okay? No big deal, right? Except they're also in the Champions League. Except there's also this tournament in Britain called the FA Cup. So actually, these teams can play 2 or 3 games a week. Now, this is soccer. These dudes are running like 5 miles sometimes. The midfielders are running like 5 miles a game. You cannot play those guys every game. You can't. You can't. And the fans in Europe have long accepted this. Yeah, sometimes if I go to the game, I'm not going to see, Ronaldo, because he just played 3 freaking games in 8 days. So we don't get him this time. You know?
That makes sense.
But I understand the counter argument. The counter argument is these tickets to these NBA games, and I guess the NHL games as well, are getting so freaking expensive that if you go there to see the Lakers and you don't get LeBron, your kid pouts. So I understand that argument too. But again, I feel like you want the long schedule. Okay, adjust expectations. There's gonna be DNPs. There's gonna be DNPs. Now I don't know how it is in hockey. In hockey, do guys sit out? Do they just for just rest reasons? Do they ever miss a game?
It's interesting you mentioned that, because one of the biggest controversies the last few years has been the Vegas Golden Knights star player, Mark Stone.
Right.
The last few seasons, he's been injured and put on long-term injury reserve. So when a player goes on long-term injury reserve, the team can replace him with another player and not take a hit to the salary cap. Because the long-term injury reserve player's salary doesn't count against the salary cap. So then come playoff time, when they make the playoffs, now he can come back. All players are allowed to play in the playoffs. So it's a way to get good players into the lineup and not having to pay extra money for them. Although, albeit you're still sitting your star centerman, right? He's still on he's still not playing. So I don't know if it's really an advantage.
But this is the thing. This is the thing that, again, that the fans need to accept. They need to accept that the teams are thinking long term as well. And some fan bases do. In San Antonio with the Spurs back in the day, they accepted this. Sometimes our players are going to sit because we're already thinking about the playoffs in December, because we know we're going to be there. Right. So we gotta get the Chiefs have been doing this the past few years. Mahomes aside, they know that they're going to be in the playoffs. And so they rest people beginning in like October. They begin, day off this week, So if the fans can adjust the expectations, they can keep the long schedule. But if you're expecting to see LeBron play every game, 72 games.
Yeah, towards the end of this. Yeah, the CFL does that too towards the end of the season. I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. But I think the CFL fans have adjusted to this too.
Look at the Toronto Argos 1 or 2 years ago. They were in the playoffs at like the midpoint of the season.
Yep. That's the danger. In the case of football, that's the danger. So far, this bye week in the 7-team NFL playoffs has worked in the favor of that team. That team usually advances. That team is often in the Super Bowl so far. But I think after a while, you're going to see that. You're going to see the rust on one of these teams in the near future. Because you often take that last week off, last 2 weeks off, then you get the bye. So. But anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on to what I really wanted to discuss.
Okay.
Now, last week's show, you told me to watch the movie F1. I had no idea why, so I watched the movie. Took me 2 nights to watch it because it's like a 3-hour movie, but I had no idea why I was watching. So while I was watching, I was like, okay, what's he going to talk about? What's he going to ask me? I'm like, I'm studying everything that's happening on the screen. I'm like, okay. So this week, you want to know if it's a gateway drug to Formula One fandom, pure Oscar bait,
Right.
both, neither, or something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Um, for let me start out by saying it's a fantastic movie.
Okay.
Like, I'm not even an F1 fan, and when I was watching this movie, I was an F1 fan.
Okay. See, there you go.
It was a very good movie. Good acting, surprisingly, because it's Brad Pitt.
Oh, I love Brad.
I'm just kidding. I like Brad too. He's not bad. I don't know any of the other actors in the movie, but everybody was good in the
Yeah.
movie. Great acting, great action
Okay.
sequences. I have a question for you because I don't watch F1.
Okay.
All of the stuff that's in the movie regarding the cars and regarding the teams sitting behind all the monitors studying all the cars functions on their screens and how the car's monitoring everything, does that actually happen?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a high
Wow,
tech league. It's a high
that
tech
is
league.
very high tech.
Now,
Now I see why those cars are millions of dollars.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was not a big fan of this movie.
No.
I thought you should have a look at it because it's becoming a tradition where you get the sports movie nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, and this movie will be nominated for Best Picture. I didn't love this movie too much. I thought it was a bit of a Disneyfication. I thought they did a good job, like because I
Mhm.
mean this thing is designed for American audiences, right? If the European and Asian audiences who love Formula One enjoy it, great. But I mean, it's really about American audiences, right? And although they did show the aspects of the business a lot better than I expected, still it was a little bit dumbed down, let's say. It was a little bit Disneyfied, is how
Mhm.
I think of it. Brad Pitt coming back at age 60. Come on.
Now that
Come
would
on.
never happen.
I got into Formula One. I was working for a newspaper back when they had those things, and I was covering the Formula One season, and that was one of these years when Michael Schumacher dominated. Right?
Mhm.
You talked about getting into the playoffs halfway through the season. This dude had the title locked up with 1/3 of the races still to go. He
Mhm.
was already the champion
Mhm.
of the league, right? I mean, he didn't even have to get in his car for the rest of the year, and he still would have won in the standings, right? So, I mean, I really got into Formula One. And to me, I mean, just that one season of massive exposure just really it opened me up in a way that I don't think this movie does. It's just not that deep. Like, okay, one of the things that bothered me, for example, is they at one point in the movie they started stressing the importance of the tires,
Mhm.
right? And about
Hard
how
versus
crucial.
soft.
Yeah, about how crucial it is. You got to keep them warm, but then throughout the race, this stuff is peeling off, and so you got to know when to switch out your tires. Blah 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 blah. Okay, as soon as they introduced this concept, everybody became obsessed with it. Right now, all of a sudden, the Formula One commentators are talking about, "Oh, he's got tire problems." Tire. Right? It was just a tad simplistic. Oh yeah, the thing I wanted to mention,
It
and
got tiring.
yeah, this is exactly. I was too tired at the end of the movie. Uh, this is the thing I wanted to mention is Schumacher, after dominating in his 30s, right, wanted to come back when he was like 42, and he did. He even won a race, but here's Brad Pitt 18 years later, you know, being more successful than friggin' Schumacher, who's one of the all-time greats. He's one of the goats in Formula One. Come on now, come on.
I wouldn't say
Uh,
I wouldn't say more successful. Wasn't that the only race he won?
who?
Brad
Brad
Pitt's
Pitt's character?
character.
Well, yeah, but it's not about winning the race, right? As you
Oh,
saw in the
true,
movie.
true.
In the case of this one, it wasn't even about winning the championship. It was just about getting your team on the map. And it's true if you think about it, that
Mhm.
most sports movies do not end with the hero winning the title, right? Most sports movies, it's about not all
This
of
is
them.
true.
I mean, Hoosiers is a good counterexample, but it's often about just getting into the big game, right? The plucky team, the plucky player, gets
Mhm.
into the tournament, gets into the semifinals, defeats the Darth Vader of the piece, right? So in this one, it was just about putting that team on the map, right? It was all
Yeah.
about the technology and the money, the backers, right? Now, the one of the other reasons why I wasn't so big on this film is because there are a couple of other films that you really should see instead of this one. Last a couple of years ago, Ford versus Ferrari.
I saw that.
And
That was good.
yeah, now that's a
That was a good
bitchin'
movie.
movie about racing. That's a fantastic movie. Another one, and I cannot recommend this one enough. I can't believe how many people haven't seen this one. Is a 2013 movie called Rush. Okay,
I've
this is
heard of that. I've heard of
yeah,
that.
directed by Ron Howard, but this is not a Ron Howard movie. Okay, this is a hardcore sports movie. It's the real life story of Nicky Lauda. Nicky Lauda, he was an Austrian dominant racer in the 70s. And this is back in the day. The 70s is back in the day when you were watching car races to see the wrecks. Okay. People were dying. People were dying like every year in NASCAR, both in NASCAR and in Formula One. Okay. So the 70s were a wild freaking time for motorsports. And this captures that era. Chris Hemsworth, Captain America himself, right? Oh, Thor. I'm sorry, not Captain America. Thor is James Hunt, the great British Formula One driver, the only Brit ever to win the championship, I believe, at least to that point. And Nicky Lauda is played by this guy, Daniel, what is his name? Daniel Brühl. Now, this guy, he was born in Spain, but raised in Germany.
Oh.
And he's playing Nicky Lauda in this movie. See that movie. You will not be disappointed. Rush, 2013.
Hmm.
Fantastic movie.
Now,
Really
one
great.
one thing I do want to watch after watching F1 now is I want to watch the Netflix documentary.
Oh, yes.
I think it's called
Yes.
F1 Drive to Survive or
Yeah,
something
something like
corny
that.
like that.
Drive to
Something
survive. Drive to
Drive to
survive.
Survive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic.
Definitely going to
Fantastic.
watch that now.
Yeah. Good one. Very good one. That one goes a lot deeper than F1 does.
Okay.
You'll really learn the game. In that
Hmm.
one. So, all right, let's definitely wrap that.
Wrap it
I
up.
can't believe we were going to keep this under 45 minutes. All right,
Yeah.
so
We're at 51 minutes.
yeah. Let's talk one of my favorite aspects of this show. Let's talk some
Mhm.
history. Okay, now you told me you wanted to do this bit this week. And you got a great topic.
I
What
did.
are
I
you, what are
did.
you going to teach us?
Well, I'm going to teach you about one of the greatest college football games ever played.
Oh, okay.
If you're a sports fan, I'm sure you've seen highlights from the 1982 big game featuring the
Oh,
California Golden Bears versus Stanford Cardinal.
oh. I thought you were
Uh,
going to go Cal, Texas,
oh
or
no, oh no,
USC, Texas. Okay.
no.
All right.
And if you wait till the end and listen to the reason I selected this topic, it'll all make
Oh, I
sense.
know. Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Um, yeah, the Golden Bears led this game 10-0 at halftime. Stanford scored a touchdown on an 80-yard drive, marred by a controversial catch by Mike Tolliver, who appeared to catch the ball out of bounds. Stanford then took the lead 14-10. Golden Bears took the lead right back, scoring a field goal and a touchdown to make it 19-14. Stanford then cut the lead to 19-17, kicking another field goal. Stanford then fumbled the ball on their next possession. But after the Golden Bears' next drive stalled, Stanford got the ball back with just a minute 27 left in the game. So now Stanford must drive within field goal range. On the first play of the drive, Stanford quarterback throws a little screen pass, which is caught, but the receiver falls for a loss of 7 yards. The second play is an incomplete pass, making it 3rd and 17. The third down pass attempt knocked away by the defender, bringing up a 4th and 17 with the game on the line. 53 seconds left. The Stanford quarterback throws a 30-yard dart complete for a first down. Then on the very next play, throws another 19-yard dart complete, and the receiver gets out of bounds. So the next play, the Stanford quarterback pitches the ball back to his rusher, who rumbles for 21 yards, putting the team in field goal range. Now, Stanford is well within field goal range on the 18-yard line. They kick the 35-yard field goal with 4 seconds left on the clock. The announcer, in fact, says, "Only a miracle can save the Bears now." Well, after a 15-yard penalty against Stanford, yeah, you know where this is going.
Oh, I love this.
After a 15-yard penalty against Stanford, tacked on the kickoff, the Bears' miracle happened. And it was one of the most amazing and strangest plays in history. And I'm actually going to show it here. And,
awesome. All right.
And yeah, let's play this.
Harmon will probably try to squib it, and he does.
I'm going to mute the sound just so we don't get any copyright violations. So,
okay.
These, ladies and gentlemen, are the flea flickers. And is that what you would call this, flea flickers? I don't know what they technical.
No, that's not a flea flicker. It's just a lateral.
It's a lateral pat. Lateral. That's the game. That. And you see the guy scoring the touchdown, runs over the poor trombone player.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrecked that guy, the tuba player. He wrecked
tuba player, right? Tuba player.
Him. Okay.
So
yeah, this has been ranked. I've seen this in a couple of places. This has been ranked the #1 college football play of all time. Not so much for its strategy or its brilliance.
And the funny thing is, I remember this play vividly when I was growing up. Like back in the 80s, I've seen this play. And just boggled my mind back then. It still boggles my mind now. Just crazy.
I'm glad that you're an old guy like me and you remember this, because I was a kid, but I remember this game. Dude, this thing was on the front page of Sports Illustrated. Fans were making paintings of this moment when he just wrecks the tuba player. The tuba player got interviewed in Sports Illustrated. I mean, this thing was like,
I had a subscription to that year.
Oh yeah.
I got the shoe phone. I got the shoe phone and everything.
You did not. You mean the football phone?
No, I had a shoe phone. It was a sneaker.
The shoe phone. Wow. Yeah. I don't remember that one. I remember the football, but I don't remember the shoe phone.
Yeah, so I mean, so some would say that this was the greatest game in college football history, including the losing Stanford quarterback, who not only engineered the amazing 80-yard drive to give them the lead, but had played his last college football game.
Yep.
That quarterback, of course, who was it?
This was
skill testing question.
No, can't be Jim Plunkett.
Denver Broncos legend John Elway.
Oh, Elway. Yep. No,
and the reason I bring this up is because I just watched John Elway's documentary on Netflix, and I have to say it was pretty damn good, and I highly recommend it.
Yep. Fantastic game. One of those, this happened in 1982, and you instantly knew that this was going to be, top 10 plays of the 80s. The Sports Center 1980s, top 10 plays, that was in there.
Well, I don't understand why Stanford didn't run the clock down before kicking the field goal.
Yeah, this is 40 years ago. This is 45 years ago almost. Is that de rigueur back then? Did teams do that? because they knew that on the
Maybe
kickoff
not.
would take more than 4 seconds if there was a return.
True.
If there was a return. And they didn't know about Elway the drive yet. So, they hadn't seen Biner fumble on the goal line yet. They hadn't seen that play, so they didn't go forward in time.
Yeah.
Nice one. That is a good one.
Thank you.
Always
Thank you,
good to
sir.
revisit that game.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, let's do some picks for next week, and then I have one other
yes.
item I need to get in.
Yes. Let me
Okay,
look who
so-
is playing next week.
Yeah, let's talk about the order, because
All right.
who's on first, as they say.
What's on second?
Yeah,
Okay.
who's on first in the schedule?
So the first game is going to be the Buffalo Bills and Denver Broncos on Saturday.
Okay.
Who you got?
Josh Allen got a lot banged up in this game. However, I have been convinced ever since the Broncos locked up that number 1 seed that they are one and done. I don't care they're playing in Denver. I don't care that Sean Payton's the coach. I don't care that they only have 3 losses. I have not been buying this Broncos team all year. They've had some impressive wins, but I don't know. Just they do not inspire confidence, this team. I literally like any team in the AFC better than the number 1 seed. So I'll still take Buffalo. I think, we're going to see Josh Allen put the team on his back again. Buffalo.
I've said it from the beginning of the season and the beginning of the playoffs, and I will also say the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
So they're definitely going to win this game.
Yep. Okay. That's good logic. Okay. What's up second?
This is his year. It's got to be, right?
Yep. That's what they're saying.
Up second is the 49ers visiting the Seahawks.
Yeah, again, this one's a coin flip. Are you going to take Seattle in this game?
I was going to take Seattle in this game.
Okay. I'll go San Francisco. Again,
Okay.
the argument is familiarity. I think San Francisco has the edge on coaching. This is great offense against great defense, and great offense minus Kittle. But next man up culture has been very strong in San Francisco since Shanahan got there. So I have every faith that they have other tight ends that they will go to in this game.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go San Francisco. I do think that the bet of this game, one of my favorite bets to make, is either team wins by 1 to 6 points.
Oh,
I love that bet, and so I think that might be the good bet here. They were talking recently about how there were 4 games within 6 points in the divisional round. That's the first round. That's the first time that's ever happened, and that the all-time number of games this close in a playoff series is 6. So we're well on the way to seeing the closest playoff series ever. And I think this is going to be another one. I think this is going to be a 3-point game.
All right. Next up on Sunday is the Texans versus the Patriots.
Love the Patriots, but I did not see enough from them in this last game. I guess the Texans are capable of scoring 30 points.
Only in 2 quarters.
But I've liked the Texans for a long time. I thought that the conference might come down to Jags versus Texans, which would be nice because, of course, these are 2 of the only 4 teams never to have played in the Super Bowl. And they both had a shot at it. I think the Texans still do have a shot at it. I think the Patriots, it's too soon. This is a good team. The defense is not fully baked yet. So I think this is not the Patriots here. However, scourge of the league may be back very soon. Very soon. These guys may be appearing in 5 of the next 9 after this. So I'm that terrified.
Interesting.
Of Vrabel and company. But no, not this year, Houston.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to take the Patriots.
Wow.
And
All right.
not just to go against you, but I think Drake May is sensational, and I think he's going to make it happen.
Okay, well, he certainly doesn't have the nerves excuse this week. However, Houston Texans #1 defense. This is literally
This is true.
In some metrics. This is literally one of the better defenses we've seen this century, right, of the past 25 years. So, I mean, this is a top 6, top 7. This could be the Ravens of 2000. This could be a team just carried by the Broncos of 2016 was it, where the defense just carries them. This could be that team.
And I have a feeling I know who you're picking in the final game: the Rams versus the Bears.
Well, terrified of the Bears, but the truth is the Rams are they're either way you sliced it on that last game this weekend. The Rams were going to have to get the Bears and then, the NFC West team. Either way, they were going to get Bears and probably Seahawks in either order, right? They could have fallen. If the Packers had won, they would have drawn Chicago. You can just go through the permutations. So, yeah, I'm still going to go for the Rams. Caleb was scary, but Stafford is awesome, and Puka is ridiculous. Devontae Adams as the number 2 option. Wow. Okay. Keyron Williams has been awesome as well. I just think the Rams have a bit too much offense, especially with that big hole at middle linebacker for the Bears. So I think that's enough. I've had the Rams to win the Super Bowl for quite a while. So I do think, despite the slowdown of the past 3-4 weeks, and again, I'm chalking that up to we're already thinking about the playoffs. Despite the lower key play of the past 3-4 weeks, I still think they have more than the Bears. Again, I feel like the Bears is another team that might be a year away.
Okay. I am taking the Bears.
Wow.
This is the game. This is the game. Well, this is the game I had planned on going against you because I knew you were going to take the Rams. So I was going to take the Bears just to be opposite. So Ben Johnson, I feel he's going to outcoach again. I feel he's going to be
Sean McVay. Oh my God, heresy. Outcoach Sean McVay. Come on.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, if he does, they'll win for sure. Wait, is that the slate? Is that everything? Yeah,
that's it. 4 games.
Okay, great. Wow. Jesus.
4 games.
Okay. Just wanted to say this really quickly. I was quite surprised to see this several times on NFL Network this weekend and on ESPN, talking about the passing of Bob Weir. Right? Now, Bob Weir, guitarist, songwriter, backup singer for the Grateful Dead, the long-term classic rock and roll band, mostly known for their following. Okay, they were mostly pumping him up on the sports stations, I think, because a lot of them like the Grateful Dead, but also because Weir was known as a big sports fan in that Bay Area. Okay, wanted to recommend this one since I gave you for F1 the movie last week. Wanted to recommend this movie. There's a movie called The Other Dream Team. Okay. This is a documentary about how in 1992 the Lithuanians forming their own Olympic basketball team. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is a minor spoiler for the movie. Those old Soviet basketball teams that we feared so much in the 70s and to some extent in the 80s. And ultimately, they were the ones that brought in the pros because they beat us in the late 80s. Those teams were mostly fueled by Lithuanians. The studs on those teams were almost always Lithuanians.
Oh, okay.
And in the case of the last Soviet team that beat David Robinson and those guys in the Olympics, you're talking about guys like Sarunas Marčulinas, who of course was famously the first Eastern European in the NBA, first communist bloc player in the NBA.
You also talked about him last week.
Right, and Arvydas Sabonis as well. Now, The thing is, their primary financial backer for this team to exist was the Grateful Dead.
Oh.
And I was absolutely blown away that in all these video obituaries for the man, that this was not mentioned, because it's really an amazing story about connecting Sarunas with Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir.
Yeah.
It's really good. And plus, in this movie, The Other Dream Team, you also get, again, this history of Soviet basketball, this history of Lithuanian basketball, and just, the development and the entry of Lithuanian players in the league. It's very interesting because there's this frame story of Jonas Valanciunas, who was a very well-regarded Lithuanian player who entered the league with the Toronto Raptors, I believe. But, he was coming up through the national team for a while. And this is a guy who doesn't even know what communism was, And the point is that because of the Sabonises and the Marcellinuses, and because of the Grateful Dead, ultimately, now we can have a Jonas Valanciunas who is lucky enough to grow up in this world where he could play for his own country, which is really kind of the point of the movie. So great movie, fantastic movie. If you want to pay tribute to Bob Weir as a sports fan this week, check out The Other Dream Team. I believe it's even on YouTube at this point,
okay.
because it's quite an old documentary. It's almost 20 years old now, I think, this documentary. Oh, yeah, and that was the other thing to mention, too, is that as part of the deal for the Grateful Dead essentially sponsoring Team Lithuania, they got these tie-dye Team Lithuania shirts.
Oh, okay.
Red, yellow, and green, the colors of the flag. And, with the Grateful Dead guy dunking the basketball, the skeleton man with the long hair dunking a basketball. It's awesome. And it is said that it was the number one item to buy at the 92 Olympics in Barcelona. Like, everybody wanted these tie-dye T-shirts. I have one. I'll wear it next week. I have a replica Lithuania jersey. It's awesome. And these guys were going around Barcelona always wearing these shirts. Like, they never took these shirts off. It's great. It's great. It's a really fantastic story. The Other Dream Team.
So if any of the hipsters are deadheads, go check that movie out.
Oh, this is the ultimate crossover. This is the ultimate crossover. See this movie. Sports, music, politics, geopolitics. Fantastic movie.
Everything.
Excellent.
All right, sir. Well, we turned 45 minutes into 1 hour and 11 minutes. So
not surprised. We'll keep it shorter next time. I'd like to thank all the listeners for lasting this long.
Yeah.
All the hipsters. Thank you.
If you've lasted this long, and if we last long enough to come back again next week, we'll see you next week on another episode of Shots from the Hip. Ciao, friends.